Hello everyone. This is my approach to get 10-15 marks more to clear IOFIS cutoff. Uh, Last year 2024 attempt was my last attempt, and I had taken a conscious decision to clear the forest cutoff as well, along with the general civils cutoff. So this was my strategy for approaching this exam, and a lot of my friends are requesting how I had fine-tuned my strategy. So I would broadly put them into these 10 points. Firstly, the basic resources and basic PYQ practice. And then after doing this, since everyone is doing this, we need to go to the extra mile. What extra was I doing? We discussed that. And fine tuning some more subject specific topics so that I get that necessary extra marks. I had planned them very specifically, and a lot of them got reflected in the exam. So the first thing is about the aptitude, which is much needed to clear the exam. The second thing which comes is test series and the real time exam. Here also you must already be knowing, and you must also be having your own strategy for time management, your bubble filling, the number of questions you want to do, and how many tests one should give. So I will discuss this, give it my own touch. And lastly, but the most important, is the attitude one, like how you should take this forest exam, because it's risky, and what should be your approach, mental approach. So I would often say to myself that अगर मुझे नहीं आता है कोई टॉपिक एंड क्वेश्चन इज़ न्यू, तो डेफिनेटली किसी और को नहीं आता है. आई हैड tremendous belief in myself that I have worked hard, and I would try to list down what all activities I have done in the day. So we will discuss that in the last. Okay, so yeah, let's come back to the aptitude part, which is the most important part to clear the exam. The first is the basic resource. In my 4 attempts where I cleared the prelims, I followed the same resource, and the same stuff was there. Nothing new. The same book, Lakshmikant, Shankar IAS, Spectrum, and the same resources. And it said that if you clear once, it's definitely you that you'll clear the exam again, the prelims cut off again. So the logic behind doing this basic resource is that everyone is doing this, so you should also do it. And since this is the foundation, you cannot afford to go wrong on that. So the key term over here is to be precise. Be precise as much as possible. You know, for example, if a simple question is coming from NCRT, you cannot afford to get that wrong. So my strategy would be, like, if I'm reading the history notebooks, the themes 1, themes 2, themes 3, I would read one chapter and take one A4 sheet and just write the keywords and the facts which I'm not remembering. Like if I'm reading about Indus Valley civilization, I would write about the timelines. Or if I'm reading about Buddhism, I'll look after the monuments, the images which are given, like Shala Bhanjika. So write them all on one page, because if one question comes here, it will definitely repeat. And this is supposed to be only one time investment. If you have invested once, then you don't need to do it again in the next attempt. It's already in your A4 sheet, you just need to memorize and revise it again. So this is the basic resource. And after you have done the basic resources, go ahead to do the basic PYQ practice. I have not discussed the basic resources because I assume that you must already be knowing it, and every beginner or every student who has put some significant time must already be knowing it. So let's move on to the next. Do the basic PYQ practice. Here, this time, earlier I used to focus more on the mock test and then on the UPSC exam. This time I changed the order. I practiced more on the UPSC PYQs from 95 to 2024 onwards, and in my free time I would do the state PSC. Here I would just do the this year's and last year's exams, not much. And in the mock test there are like 30-35 tests for Vision IS and other coaching classes. Instead of doing all that, I just focused on the easy ones, uh, which are the initial phases, like the test which is based on NCRT, the initial 10-20 pages. I would avoid doing that, those tough ones which comes in the last, because firstly it's a very demotivator, and secondly very less gets reflected in exam. So focus on UPSC PYQs, state PSC PYQ, and then last do the mock tests, the basic ones. This is mainly to connect with the basic resource which you had studied in the NCRT, and make sure you don't get that wrong. If you're getting it wrong, then at least try to fix it, and make sure you don't do it again. The next comes is going to the extra mile, because everybody is uh, trying for this exam, and this is a competition and not a college exam where you just need to clear the 35 marks. Here you have to be in the top 10,000, and if you want to clear the prelims, then effectively you are in the top 1500 in general category. So yeah, I would make sure that I studied very hard for this. From one topper I had heard that that guy would uh, you know do two current affairs resources. So this was my last attempt. I said, why not put some more energy? I did two, and then just glanced through one more, so that one more current affairs class, so that it gives me an extra boost. And for this, the extra resources, I had some look on the Hindu videos. The Hindu publishes videos, short videos in their YouTube channel, and some questions repeat from that. For example, the cocoa question in this year, where cocoa cultivation is done, and I think that helped getting me one extra mark. Similarly, in earlier attempts also, a lot of videos like uh, Dennis Sowan, these were discussed in the Hindu videos. I would watch them in my free time, and um, this year I looked into Dipin sir's current affairs extra class. So the current affairs extra classes I feel is very bulky. What you can do is just take the topic what the tutor has discussed, and make your own notes on it. You don't need to watch the entire videos or read the bulky material. In fact, I read and got one of the question wrong, because I read too much from this class notes. So yeah, again it's your opinion how you want to curate your own style. And next comes is dealing with subject specific topics. So here one should, I feel, is link it with the GS mains. For example, I felt that in 2019, if a question is there in prelims, it gets asked in mains also, which is Sikkim organic farming, this type of question. The nuclear deals in the news with Japan, and we, since we are linking with GS mains, look through the GS3 topics like EIA, IP rights. These often get repeated, and they are form the base of your mains notes also. And one more extra thing I did was studying biology, because uh, that I felt would give me 2 to 4 marks extra, and in every attempt indirectly bio or biotechnology is asked. So I read that, and I often got them wrong, but I still studied them. So that's about a mental game. So I would still, if today I'm giving, I would still study biology, at least spend some time. Again, the GS3 topics like disaster management schemes, you can do. One more thing is linking it with current affairs. When they say a lot of current affairs, they basically mean that what is significantly happening in the like in society, which has very groundbreaking relevance, like Nobel Prize winners. So in one of the attempts, 2019, the gravitational waves were discovered and Nobel Prize was given. So I made sure I studied more about them. Similarly, I in this year I expect that, since questions like quantum computing and more in depth AI generator, like what does GPT stand for in AI, how does that module work. If one studies them, I feel that it's still relevant even though it's a little deep. Similarly, UNESCO sites, often it's asked Dora Vira, and uh, like which the monument, the statue in Hyderabad was uh, made. Questions on that was there. Politically, the most active news is which take around 15 to 20 days, like the question on ethics committee, was the result of news discussion, I would say. So once one has gotten the aptitude and has a good source of knowledge, I'm pretty sure that one can comfortably do the remaining questions. uh, and this can be done by practicing mocks and PVIQs. So let's come to the next part, which is the test series and the real exam. So how much test series is correlated with the real exam has often been a matter of debate. I would say that test series does have benefits, and but it's very different from the real exam. For instance, if one gives the simulation exams, uh, like Abhyas or Forum simulator exams, one will find that the only benefit is one gets to follow the time management, do the bubble filling, practice CSAT on the same day. So I think that's useful. And again, test series has too many questions, like too many learning things. For example, time management, bubble filling. One helps decide what how many questions one has to do. For me, and yeah, and how many tests one should take. So let's have a look at this. For time management, this year uh, I made sure that I complete the paper at least 10 minutes before the exam, which includes bubbling and everything, so that one is relaxing. For that, one needs to be clearly plan that in 1 hour 10 minutes one has to complete the entire paper for the first round, and for second round, which includes bubbling, and that may stretch to the remaining time. So I leave it up to you how do you want to go, but for me, I would say that I would try to do 50-60 question in the first 40 minutes, and bubble fill them, or bubble or fill them, and then move on to the remaining questions. This was done in only 2 iterations and not more than that. Okay, coming to the number of questions, I feel that it's more important to get less negatives to clear the cutoff. So this can be done in the mock test, like see how many like questions which you know but are still you're getting wrong. Try to reduce that. A basic formula is 70-30. Like, see, if you have to get out of 100 question, if you get 70, that will be 140, and 30 negatives, that makes your score 120, which is good. So I followed this in my mock tests. Like, that is effectively doing almost all the questions except for like 4 or 5 questions I would leave. And this is very drastic from the first attempt, where I would do only 80 questions and I would get 60 right and 20 wrong, uh, which put my score in 106. This time in the exam, I went through the questions. I found there were too many difficult questions which I'm sure nobody knew. So I made a plan that I would leave 10 questions no matter what, and I was sure that the cutoff would fall down. And I personally feel the cutoff would still be less than 90, or somewhere in the range of 85 to 90. So 10 I left, 90 I attempted. Sorry, 90 I attempted, and then let's talk more about like tukka, or what do you say, smart guessing, or the dilemma. One is at 50-50. Like, you have to eliminate 2 options, but you still can't get it right. So I would still randomly choose one of the option and go ahead. But if I'm eliminating only one option, that means it's only 33 and 66. Here I would leave it because the weightage of negative increases. So my whole idea was to focus on getting less negatives. 50-50, if you do at least 10 questions, I'm pretty sure that your probability will be on the positive side. And if you're lucky enough, it will be on much on the higher side. But this does not work with 3360, that is, you have eliminated only one option. And find simulation exams, I did Abhyas, Forum simulator, and Next IS simulators. uh, I think the Abhyas ones are the good ones. Forum simulators are bulky and I think less relevant. So I would solve the forum and be happy if the same question gets repeated in the Abhyas ones. That would boost my marks by 5 to 10 or 15 marks. This is just for confidence building and finding that soft spot on time management, bubble filling, and a real exam simulation. Coming to the last question, number of tests. How many number of tests you should give? I said give as much as you want in a span, like take a 1 day break in between and do like analyze it and then move on to the next test. And last year was getting very less marks and mocks because 2023 paper was very difficult and the mock test similarly became very difficult. So I made sure I would solve um, the test where I get the highest marks and I will stop after that. So luckily, I was unfortunately getting 70-80 marks in all the tests, but luckily in the last exam, I got 108, and I promised myself that I won't write anymore, and this is my highest. I will directly appear in exam. So these kind of small things helps you keep positive and boosted. And coming lastly to the attitude, it's more about the positive self-talk you have with yourself. Firstly, tell yourself that you have worked very hard. Write down on a piece of paper that how many tests you had written, how many questions you solved, how many number of hours you gave, and every small thing which you feel which has made you uh, feel better. And when you come across a difficult question, tell yourself that if you don't know, मुझे नहीं आता तो किसी और को भी नहीं आता, and which is quite natural because you have already almost everything which a common aspirant is reading, and in fact you have taken some extra steps also. So if you are not knowing, then definitely others might also not be knowing. So my confidence would be such that कि एग्ज़ाम में ही पता चल जाता था कि I will pass my prelims cutoff. So that's how your self-talk should be, and I'm sure that you would do well, and even you will come to know that you are going to pass in the exam. And equally important is to say that what if you fail, because this is a question which comes to everyone's mind. Then promise yourself that even if you fail, that then it's not an end. After the exam also you will do well, maybe in the next attempt, or maybe in the new sector or academics or the job you are joining. So a lot depends on the attitude also. If you have the right attitude, you can, and leverage your aptitude of the exam. So that's it from my side. Frankly speaking, we can discuss each of this topic for 1 hour. We can discuss the resources, we can discuss the PYQs, what all more and extra mile questions, and we can discuss a lot. But again, for since the time constraint is there, uh, this is my short strategy for you all. I hope you benefit from this and sail successfully through the exam. Thank you.